Hello, my fellow Christian. There were times where I would think that I had finally gotten my binge eating under control because I could go for days, weeks, or even months really without even binge eating at all. And part of me would think, finally, I've done this, I've finally beaten this challenge. But then something would always happen. It could be a bad day, it could be stress, like something would always happen that would trigger me and put me back to where I started basically. And what I realized is there were some habits that are healthy habits that I was doing that were making this binge eating worse. And when I stopped them, like, I made real progress. So today I'm going to show you what these habits are, and then I'm going to show you exactly what to do instead. So by the end of this video, I would have saved you from years of mistakes that I made, and you can stop your binge eating way faster. So let's go on to habit number 1. So if you have searched online for advice on how to eat less food, I'm going to assume that you have at some point ran into this. So have you ever heard that you should always drink a glass of water? Wow, this is actually a good color. Blue is good. A glass of water before eating. And they say that if you drink a glass of water, it's going to make you eat less food because water is going to fill up your body faster, and as a result, you are not going to binge. I'm going to guess you have heard that somewhere. And the painful thing is, I also heard that, and I also tried it. So I remember I came back and I drank, I'm pretty sure it was a green version of this glass, not really the whole thing, but I drank a large glass of water. And when I started to eat, sure, I did feel fuller faster because I had stuffed my stomach with water. But the painful thing is, even though I felt full, I did not stop eating. And I started to eat so much, I developed stomach pains literally from just stuffing food into my stomach. And that happened because I followed the advice to drink water before a meal, and that ended up being very toxic and being very dangerous. So yes, if you have never heard this advice, good, congratulations. But if you are considering it or you are doing it where you drink water before a meal, please stop. Like, the reason why you binge it is not because you're hungry, it's because you binge. And there's a whole dimension of things that you have to be fixed before we can tell you to drink water before a meal. Now, if you are thirsty, fair enough, but don't drink water before a meal literally for the purpose and for the sake of feeling full, hoping that is going to help you to stop binge eating. That's not how it works, okay? Trust me, I've tried it. Don't make the same mistake that I made. Please. Let's go on to habit number 2 that feels reasonable and a bit logical, but actually it doesn't work. Like for people like you who struggle with binge eating. Have you ever heard that you should save your meals in a small plate? They say save your meals in a small plate because if you do that, then it's impossible to stuff a lot of food in this plate. So as a result, you are not going to eat a lot, and it's going to stop you from binge eating. Have you ever heard that advice, or have you ever tried it before? But the big problem with this advice is it assumes that our brains are dumb. Like, our brains know that this plate is small, man. And when you serve in a small plate like this, here's what's going to happen. You're going to have one plate, and your brain is going to say, it was a small plate, so you know what? Let's just eat another one. And so you serve in another small plate. So now you have consumed 2 small plates. Let's do this. And your brain is going to be like, there were small plates, it's not a big deal. And you're going to take another small plate, and before you know it, you have consumed many small plates. So I'm telling you, don't follow the advice of only serve in a small plate. Instead, I believe just use a normal plate instead. Now, I don't know if this plate normal, maybe it's too big or it's too ugly or whatever. In other words, just save your food in a normal plate, please. This whole advice of use a small plate, like, to me, it doesn't make sense for people who struggle with binge eating. I would rather have you train to eat food in a normal plate instead and not binge it. And at the end of this video, I'm going to link you to a video which is going to show you exactly how to eat in a small plate and still not overeat. So let's continue. Now let's go on to habit number 3, and I'm not gonna lie, this is the most common mistake that I see out there, even from people who don't struggle with binge eating. It's so common. You'd disagree with me here. Let me tell you a bit of a story which is going to really drive this point home. Imagine you are walking through the streets and you meet a friend and you start talking to him and you develop a good friendship connection, and he invites you out for drinks. So you go out with him, you have a few drinks, and he says, "Don't worry about paying, it's on me." And he pays. You look at the bill and you're like, "Wait, this is such a large bill." And he's like, "Don't worry, it's on me." And you're laying on your couch the following day and you see a message from him, he's inviting you again. And so you go out with that friend for a week and you are having drinks, you're having an amazing time. And you keep realizing that he's paying a large bill, but he keeps saying it's on him, so you don't worry. But then a few days later, you're laying on your couch and you just decide to check your balance, and you realize that, wait, what? Like, my balance is like way less than it was. And you realize that that friend of yours, it actually hacked your phone. So even though it looked like you are the one who was paying, it was actually you. You realize that, of course, you had an amazing time with him, but now you have suffered in a big cost, and you are actually in a very terrible state that you first began. Would you consider that friend a friend, and would you want to hang out with him again? I'm going to guess the answer is no. Now let me ask you, would you want to hang out with him once in a while, once every 3 months, knowing that he's going to mess you up again? The answer is no. Well, let me tell you, that's exactly how junk food works. It makes you feel good in the immediate term when you eat it, but you don't realize that you are paying a cost from your balance, and that being balanced for you is your health. If you care about your health, of course, some people don't, I'm going to assume you do, and you're going to be paying a cost from your health literally every single time. So junk food just makes your life worse. And the painful thing here is when people tell you that, oh, you must eat junk food once in a while. That is a very terrible advice that I see out there, that, oh, it doesn't matter if you eat junk food in a while. But think of the example that I told you. Hanging out with a friend who destroys your life once in a while, is still a terrible friend. Like, don't eat junk food, please. Now, I don't blame you if you don't agree with my message right now. I'm going to leave a link up here or up here. I'm going to put a card here. You can watch that entire video where I just go in depth about this. Trust me, just check it out. It's going to change the way that you view junk food, and it's going to change that for the better. Okay, now let's move on to habit number 4, and it's very similar to habit number 1. So have you ever been told that if you eat something and you don't feel full, then you should drink a glass of water? Have you ever heard that somewhere? And there is a big problem with this advice, because I tried it at some point, and I would eat something and I would stop eating when I'm like moderately full. But I drink a glass of water and for some reason I start to feel bloated, like I'm too full, and then my overthinking mind takes over, and it's like, did you binge it? Why are you feeling this too full? Oh my god, you binged. And I started to overthink this, even though in reality I did not binge eat. I just drank a glass of water, but now I'm overthinking. All because I drank a glass of water after a meal. Now I'm touching my chin because it's starting to get painful, because maybe I've talked for a too long time consistently, so I'm going to finish this video fast now. Sorry about that. Now let's go on to habit number 5. The painful thing about this habit is I heard someone recommending it, like a very famous person. I'm not going to call names. He was recommending it because he said it was good. Have you ever been told that you should always carry something with you, like this? There is drinking here. You should always carry something with you in case you get hungry, so you can always have something to eat. And they say that it will stop you from binge eating, so you should always carry food with you. Maybe not like this. That advice might seem helpful, but I believe it can be very toxic. Because think about it, the reason why you binge eat is rarely because you are hungry. Like, how many times have you binged right after you finished dinner? Or how many times have you been eating something and you feel full, but there's still food on your plate, and so you just force yourself to just eat anyway. So clearly, you don't binge eat simply because you're hungry. So if we tell you that you must carry something with you to avoid binge eating, then that can be toxic. It's also going to make you afraid of hunger. Now, you're going to freak out when you feel hungry. Now, and that can be very toxic, because like hunger is just a feeling, okay? Don't carry something with you simply because you want to avoid binge eating, because you binge eat even though you're not hungry. Now, remember I told you that I would show you a video which teaches you how to stop eating when you're full. And this is a very important step if you want to stop binge eating as a whole. I'm going to link that video right here, so watch it right there. It's absolutely free.